So welcome to today's training. My name is Austin Distal. I help lead marketing innovation here at Jasper. And today I'm going to be talking about Jasper's brand voice and memory feature. This is a really exciting development in the world of AI right now. As you've seen over the past, especially last year, businesses are really looking towards this technology in their marketing and sales to create a lot of great content, but they want it to be on brand and factually accurate to their company. And so today I'm going to show you how to teach your own AI assistant how to write like you and how to make sure it gets the content correct so you feel confident about publishing. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Before we get into the meat of the training, here's our agenda. We're going to talk about what the public is saying, what you are saying about AI right now. I'll show you Jasper brand voice features. I'll do a live Q&A running with an example. I'll show you some pro tips and create a game plan for you and your team to start training your own AI assistant, Jasper, today. And then stick around to the end. I'll give you a free gift and we'll do some Q&A. So let's get into it. Let me tell you about a woman named Donna Peterson. Now, you might relate with her. Donna is the Chief Executive Officer at World Innovators, Inc. And she's been helping B2B companies with their marketing strategy for the last 27 years. And she's a big advocate and speaker on the world of AI meets marketing. And when I was reading her content, I felt a hint of skepticism and caution, but it's very healthy skepticism and caution. On her LinkedIn, World Innovators, Inc. published this post. And Donna, the author, was saying that not all the information is correct, and that the AI came back with the wrong company. And she was noticing that it was pretty generic. And although it was very excellent and thorough in its response, there was nothing really unique about it. And as Donna would say, in her agency and consulting practice, and when she talks on stage, every day she talks to clients about their unique voice and being authentic. Yet here I was regurgitating content produced by a robot. The content was not in the tone of voice of World Innovators or my own voice, Donna Peterson. It was time to step back and figure out what I was doing. Now, in the Q&A, raise your hand if Donna and her healthy skepticism and her thoughts about AI are just. I see a lot of raising of the hands. I think a lot of people are feeling this lately. They're like, how do I stand out in a world where everybody's using the same tools as me? And this is not all people are thinking today. When we get into the state of AI in marketing, there's a few things that we've heard from you, the community. And Jasper today is addressing many of these concerns. The first one is people want to create content with AI. They're saying things like, AI sounds generic. It doesn't sound like me. And so today, I'm going to show you how Jasper is your digital twin that matches your brand voice. And so you don't lose control of your message. You'll also find people saying that businesses rely on content to be accurate. But when they're using AI, it doesn't know facts about my business and often hallucinates. And so when you use Jasper's brand voice features, you'll securely upload knowledge about you and your business. So then it can write factually accurate and not come up with stuff. You'll also see businesses today have a lot of people representing their brand on their content team, on their marketing team, on their sales team. There's a lot of people creating content at scale across all channels. And they're saying often that it's a challenge to write consistently on brand across all team members. And so when you work with Jasper, Jasper helps you and your whole team create content everywhere that you write online. And people use AI to save time. They know it's a great productivity tool, and they use it across many different apps in their workflow. Often you'll find people in the comment section saying, I always have chat open in a new tab. And so that's most people's common workflow. With Jasper's extensions, integrations, and API, that can carry your brand voice everywhere that you create. Wherever your teams are creating content, whether it's on LinkedIn, Gmail, Google Docs, Canva, wherever you're creating, Jasper's there on the other side of your cursor. So where does Jasper fit here in the world? Jasper is the intersection of marketing acceleration and brand control. Basically, you're getting speed and brand integrity. You're getting speed and control when you're using Jasper. We believe that generative AI does not have to be generic. And we believe that you can harness the speed of generative AI without losing control of your message. And we believe the latest AI models should be personalized and accessible wherever you create. And so you can see here now Jasper is really helping enterprises create content across their whole teams at scale. And our next iteration of Jasper here is Jasper Brand Voice. Now, many of you all have gotten in this past week using Jasper Brand Voice, and you've already started playing around with that. It's so exciting to see in the community the things that you've done. Now, when we look at the three main core pillars of Jasper Brand Voice, we have knowledge, tone, and style. So, what is knowledge? You guys might see this in your account as memories today, but when we think about all of the pieces of knowledge, we look at the facts, stories, and opinions that you want Jasper to reference when writing for your brand. And so you're going to upload all of this knowledge to Jasper. You're going to teach it about your company info, your product info, your customers, even things like your return policy and your FAQs. You can also stack, when you're prompting, you can stack multiple pieces of knowledge together. So, whether you're doing a campaign for a specific audience, you can pair different pieces of knowledge together so that it's always referencing the most accurate and up-to-date information. One important note here, Jasper does not train the large language models on your data. Rather, your data is referenced upon prompting, so your information is always secure. If you guys have any questions about that, feel free to post it right now into the Q&A. Then you have tone. So tone is the way that you say something. It's your attitude, the feelings about a topic. And so you can actually have multiple tones for your brand depending on who the author is and where you're writing your content. So for example, your tone of voice might be different when you're writing an email versus when you're posting a press release. You also should have different variations of your tone depending on the context of that message. So sometimes you'll want something that's very fluffy, lightweight, inspiring, versus other times it's time to be a little bit more direct and have that response message. And you want to apply a default tone of voice across your whole company. That way you make sure everybody using your AI is always speaking on brand. They can always change this and apply a different tone of voice when creating content. Right now, tone and style are together inside of Jasper, nested under voices. But eventually these two will actually be separated, where you'll also have style available. And style is basically the rules and the formatting for your written content. And so this could be things like use the Oxford comma, spell out numbers, title case, and emojis. So you'll want to spend some time with your copywriter or whoever is in charge of your messaging and get these style guides down. You only have to do that homework once, but then it can be applied across all teammates using Jasper. You want to also include do's and don'ts. And Jasper is really good at finding patterns. So if you did something like, here's a few examples of ways to do it and ways not to do it, things to avoid, more context there helps Jasper understand how to use your brand voice better. And as I mentioned, style right now is nested under voice alongside of your tone, but eventually these will be separated. So I was thinking, who is a really good example of a brand that has nailed their brand voice and style guide, and it has a large repository of information on their site? And this is also a company with hundreds of employees internationally. And I'm like, wow, this would be the perfect person, the perfect company to showcase on today's Brand Voice webinar. So let's get into a real world example of using Duolingo to create a brand voice, uploading core knowledge, and creating on-brand content. So what I'm going to do now is hop here into a live demo. And as we all know, live demos are risky business. But I think Jasper is going to perform today really well for us. And I'll show you a lot of new things coming up too. My Jasper account might look a little bit different than yours. There's a lot of new innovations coming to Jasper every week. And so while my account might look a little bit different than yours, you're getting a sneak peek into some amazing updates. So when we show up here on our dashboard, on the left-hand side, we have brand voice. And this is where we're going to get started. When we create a new brand voice, we can either enter a URL to scan your site, or you can upload, you can copy and paste. So what I can do here, let's go over to the brand voice, click on, so I found on Duolingo's site in their footer, which by the way, they're not a customer, but I just think that they're a really good example. And so I'm giving praise to this company. Here I go down to voice, and they have here their voice qualities. And I can just copy this link, put it right here. And now Jasper's analyzing their brand voice. It's reading the content on this page and it's indexing it and then analyzing and applying that knowledge into basically a package. Whenever you reference that package, Jasper will mimic that style of writing. Takes just a couple seconds, but in the meantime, I want to just showcase here what would examples of ways that a brand voice might want to be described. So here they're describing themselves as playful, embracive, wordly. They have examples of do's and don'ts. They have, and that's for each of their key like core value qualities. And when we look at their tone, I really like the storytelling they have here and these clear examples. So as Jasper's referencing these, it'll understand the pattern. All right, great. So I'm going to say Duolingo brand voice. Okay. Now this is the summary of the brand voice. And Jasper says in its analysis of reading that page, use exclusive, positive, and conversational language, conveying enthusiasm for the subject matter, maintaining clarity, and prioritizing localization and accessibility for diverse readers. Okay, so there's a lot more than meets the eye here. This is really just the summary of what it understood. Here I can make it default for all projects. So I create that voice. Okay, now I'm going to go to memories, and this is where I'm going to be uploading knowledge. You can see here I was doing a little homework this morning. Now, when we look at our different knowledge, there's a handful of things that I would recommend, and I'm going to create a game plan for you here in a few minutes, but a few examples. So I think that first we should start off with the company. Now, you can either write, copy and paste the text, or you can upload a file. This here is limited to about 2,000 characters, but if you upload a file, you can create a much larger doc. And so I actually like doing this more. And so I'll go to docs.new. And here I can get some company information. So I'll just copy and paste all of that. You'll notice it comes in wonky because it's copying some style patterns and stuff, but the content is here, including their culture, their drive, things like that. And then maybe I want to go over to the About Us page. Oh, that is the About Us page. Duolingo homepage. So often homepages are pretty encompassing of the brand's entire gateway into what they sell. So I often like to start there as well. And obviously, this is the very scrappy way of doing it, but just to showcase you what's going on. At the end, I'll be giving you some free gifts like a template to fill out to upload to Jasper. So this is Duolingo company info. All right. Normally, I would spend some time cleaning this up, but you guys are short on time as well. Now I'm going to go to File, Download, and I'll save this as a file to upload to Jasper. This is the Duolingo company info. And here with tags, this helps you organize all of your memories. This here is, it is company information, and then it's also the company Duolingo. So if you are an agency and you want to have different clients in here, or if you have multiple products, this is a really easy naming convention for you to follow. So now I'll add that memory. I also want to add memories for each of our products. And today we're going to be talking about Duolingo's offering for schools. So we'll do the same thing. Actually, we'll just copy and paste here. There's not that much info. All right. Delete some excess here. Ideally, you would also write in like a positioning statement. Who does this help? How does it help them? And I noticed on their avatar page here in writing, they also have audiences. And so under institutions, they have, how do they talk to this audience? And that's important too. What motivates them? And we'll get into audiences here in a second, but this is about their product. So Duolingo product schools. Looks like I am a little bit over character. So actually what I'm going to do, another docs.new, paste that in, file. There we go. Perfect. Okay, so now I have company info, product info. Last thing I would recommend is audiences. So in audiences here, we're going to do community volunteers. And today's campaign is going to be all about the Peace Corps and creating a campaign around teachers going abroad and helping you understand different languages. This is for Peace Corps teachers in other countries using Duolingo. Okay, so again, all you have to do is this homework one time, and it becomes really easy to reference in the future. All right. People information, Duolingo, create that memory. All right, there's our homework. So we have audiences, company info, and product info. Let's create some on-brand content. Okay, so first off, I'll show you here Jasper Chat. This is something that might feel familiar if you your first experience with AI. So we'll pull in our brand voice. We'll also reference schools and maybe our audience of community volunteers. And I'll apply that to chat. You can see here these tags. I can remove or add them if I want. And I'll just say, hey, Jasper, create a list of ideas for marketing campaigns. And the better you are at prompting, here's a trick. The more information you can reference in your prompt to your different memories, it will actually do a better job at isolating that core part of the memory rather than the whole thing. So that way you get a really accurate response and it doesn't just consume the whole thing. It actually remembers and focuses on that part of the memory. So create a list of ideas for marketing campaigns for Duolingo for schools targeting teachers in the Peace Corps. Now, enhance prompt. I'm going to copy and paste this. Enhancing the prompt, we all know prompt engineering has been like now a new thing where we all feel like we have to become really good at writing directions to AI. Our AI engineers have made this so much easier for you. All you have to do is click that one button and it enhances your prompt so easily. Act as a marketer, develop an effective marketing campaign that promotes, etc. You all can read that. It's a great prompt. All right, cool. So this time it looks like it did it in a style of a note, which is pretty cool. Maybe an email. Now, list out 10 ideas for promotions. But man, that's good. Okay, so we can host a webinar about the benefits of Duolingo for Peace Corps teachers. Very cool. So I like, which one do I like? I'm going to do number 3. So expand upon number 3. All right. Are you a Peace Corps teacher using Duolingo to teach your students a new language? We want to hear from you. This is really cool. Duolingo Peace Corps. Good hashtag. Oh, look at this. I like this idea. You can give gift cards as let's see, the second and third prizes. So maybe I want to adjust this, copy the message. I can hide it or try again. So this is where the iterative process of Jasper really is the magic here, because you're basically brainstorming with an AI and coming up with a great promotion. Okay. I like this. Write an email marketing this idea. So great. Okay. I'm going to now open this in documents. Often people start in chat and then they migrate over to documents when they're ready to do their editing. So subject line, join our social media competition. Maybe I want to revise this and I can say, write more subject lines about the competition. So good. I like this last one. Okay, dear Peace Corps teachers, revolutionize language in your classrooms. It's so good. And it's matching many of the narratives that we found here. And so passionate, making it available to everyone, all about community. And so when we look at Jasper Chat, it's really pulling in a lot of these core values. Very cool. All right. So that's how you use it in your chat. Now in documents, it's also available in templates. So let's say that I were to write a blog post. And so here I'll do the @, and this is coming to you soon. We're rolling this feature out where you'll be able to reference different memories, just like a merge tag as you're writing content. So I love this feature. Let's say that we're doing another product. This is their product for kids. So introducing, let's say this is like a product launch for Duolingo for kids. And the exciting features coming your way. So your tone of voice, you could maybe apply the one from the memory, or you can apply different, maybe conversational tone or something like that, depending on what your blog post tone of voice is. So here we'll do enthusiastic. All right. And then for our audience, we'll do it for teachers doing this for their audience of kids. All right. So you can see it, put it in there and generate. So in just one shot, you can create a blog post, and this is reviewing all the different parts of your style guide, brand voice. And here we can see open in docs, introducing. Here I would change this to these for kids, making reading fun for little ones. As parents, we all know how important it is for children to learn how to read. It can be a daunting task. And that's where the introducing ABC for kids. Very cool. It looks like it's using the at name instead of the product name, but pretty easy to find and replace that right now. And I'm sure we'll fix that soon. This is really good, y'all. What parents are saying. This is amazing. So let's say if I go in, this is referenced on their page. So when we get down here, Duolingo ABCs, our 7-year-old has learned how to struggle and read, right? How cool is that? So it's actually referencing the quotes from parents that are on their landing page. And that way you're writing factually, you're writing accurately, and representing your brand with only doing some of that homework one time. All right. So that's how to do it in chat, documents, templates, and so forth. Of course, you can apply this to your emails, and coming soon, it's coming to your Chrome extension, your API, all of that as well. I see that we have a couple Q&A. Thank you, team, for helping me out on those. And we'll get here into a broader FAQ in just a second. I'm going to go into some of your examples, and let's start here. So let's get into your game plan. So right now, Jasper Brand Voice is available for all teams. You have Brand Voice. You get 1 for creator, 3 for teams, and you can customize your business plan. You get 50 memories, 150 memories on teams, and unlimited on your business plan. We're going to create a game plan. So I recommend tomorrow, it's Friday, spend just a few hours with your team and come up with each of these core pillars of memories in Brand Voice to apply to your AI assistant, Jasper. I will be giving you a gift here in just a second, but let's go down into each one of these. So with company info, you want to teach Jasper about your brand in great detail, from your origin story to your positioning, what makes your brand different, and explain your unique selling proposition. Also include ethics and morals and values, the feeling that your brand represents, because that will pass through into your messaging. Create another memory for your products and services info. And there's a long list of things that you should include, but specifically, I would recommend, how does your product differentiate from the competition? And why do people buy it? What are the outcomes in their life? And what is the common buying journey? Do they need to call you, start a free trial? And how much are they going to pay? Does it cost a lot? Does it cost a little? Give that exact price tag. When it looks at your audience info, for each one of your core ideal customer personas, you want to detail that person from their demographics, firmographics, all the way to their belief system. And what is something that they resonate with in your products? Now, bonus tip, I would recommend going a step further and explaining your audience on a cold visitor, hot lead, and current customers. Think about the whole life cycle. The way that you talk to a stranger is not the same way that you've talked to a multi-year customer. And when we think about our different ICPs or just audiences in general, you want to nest each one. You want to create a different one for each of your different messages. For your campaigns, you want to tell Jasper what you're promoting. This is all the context about your event, your promotion, your campaign. Tell them about the objective, and you'll want to include things like important dates, limitations, and bonuses. You'll also want to explain how this rolls up into the general greater brand. So, for example, if you're running a conference, explain how that conference is just different than your products and services, but they are related, and they're probably nested under your overall brand umbrella. You might also want to upload some general assets. So let's say that you're writing a blog post and you want to reference a very specific article or a piece of content, like a scientific journal or a PDF report. You can upload that to Jasper, and then when you're creating content, reference that asset. You also want to upload assets like your customer stories and case studies. And if you have a pretty big blog, I would recommend uploading your core pillar pieces of content. And that way when you're writing these blog posts that link back to your primary page, it can reference that. So that way your internal linking structure is all combined. So upload those blog posts. And then you want to review and evaluate. Let's say that you don't want Jasper to just generate new content. You can actually ask it to evaluate existing content. So for example, I did this recently, and this is maybe going to break some of your brains on ways that you can use Jasper. I have an Airbnb here in Austin for bachelorette parties, and I was doing a review of last year's earnings, and I uploaded to Jasper all of the different stats from the year, pretty unstructured as well. Things like my revenue, the number of nights all of my guests stayed, but really just in a full document. It was pretty unstructured, pretty messy. And I asked Jasper to give me some insights and learnings from that document. And it came back with a really thorough, great advice. And I could have a conversation with Jasper and Jasper Chat about how to improve that. And so you could also do things like upload a transcription and make a summary, all kinds of things you can do with evaluation. All right. Thank you all for sticking around with me this far. All of these, I want to make it very easy for you to do. If you go get a free gift from Jasper, you can download these templates, and they're just open-ended. You don't have to put an email or anything like that in. It's just a Google Drive folder that you can copy and paste into yours. And these are example prompts for your products, your company, your audience, your brand voice. And if you fill this out with your team tomorrow, then you'd be able to upload these documents to Jasper. And now it has knowledge all about your business. You can go to Jasper.ai/brand-assets-templates and save, copy and paste those into your Google Drive. That's a free gift from your team here at Jasper. Again, everybody has access to this today. So whether you're a current customer, you can log in and use this immediately. Or if you're not yet a customer, you can start a free trial or get started with sales if you want a business plan, but you can tinker around with it today and explore how Jasper can write on-brand content for you and your team consistently wherever you write. Thank you all for showing up with me live today. I'm going to now answer some questions that you all have in the Q&A. All right. So Ashley, you say, is concise better when it comes to adding your brand information, or should you be as detailed as possible? I noticed that my chat prompts work better when they're concise, but I'm not sure if that logic applies to brand voice. So in your prompt, I would recommend being very specific about things that you want to pull up. And when you reference that memory, I would recommend having that be pretty long. That memory in the document that you upload, you want that to be all encompassing. So don't miss any details that you wouldn't want Jasper to forget. When you reference that document, it will, and within the prompt, you say, start a free trial of our creator plan. It will then go and specifically look for content around the creator plan and starting a free trial and the details about that. It could even read your FAQ section that references parts of those keywords in your prompt. So I would recommend being very detailed and long in your memories that you upload to Jasper, and then be specific and concise in your prompt. How do I make sure giving Jasper my confidential information of my company's brand, tone, and strategic insights won't be used for another company? Suzanne, thank you for asking this question. And it's a question many people are asking. They're worried that the large language models are being trained on the information being uploaded to Jasper or uploaded to any AI. And the way that we built this tool is it's not actually training the model, rather it is being referenced. And so it's just there to be like papers on a desk. It's there to be looked at and consumed only when prompted. And so that's not going up. It's not accessible to other accounts, and it's not accessible to our large language model partners. Thank you for asking that question. And we were very intentional with the way that we built this for that very reason. If we have a blog post with multiple authors with different tones of voices, what's the best way to include one in one brand voice, but not the other? And Seth, the way I would recommend this is you'll have one tone of voice for your company. And this is maybe something that would be default for all people using your tool. But then I would also stack another brand voice of the author yourself. You should go and upload some information, maybe copy and paste your tweets, your LinkedIn post, recent emails for Jasper to learn your style. Then it can analyze that style, that tone of voice, and apply the Seth tone of voice, and then also your company tone of voice. When you stack those on top of each other, you should get something that's a mix of both. And if you did something like you did your tone of voice, you can test this on which one will get you the better results, but your tone of voice with the knowledge of your company, then it would be also able to apply both of those together. I think stacking is really where we're going to see some interesting user combinations that you'll figure out how to apply this. So it's free form for that reason. Let's see. I was given the Teams Hub. I have the boss mode. We recently changed from boss mode over to the Teams plan. And so you will have, 3 brand voices and 150 memories. All right. And I'm focused today on questions and related to Jasper brand voice and memories, just for all you all in the Q&A section here. So can the tone of voice be edited, or does it need to be deleted and recreated? Right now, there's a lot of innovation coming up soon with updates to the way that tone of voice is edited. Right now, I would recommend that you just redo it. But coming soon, you'll be able to edit that tone of voice. So yes, I can supply these slides to you all after, and you'll also see the recording today at the same link that you registered. It'll be on our website. Also, remember to go to Jasper.ai/brand asset templates to download these for free. Again, no email required, no opt-in. You guys are already here. So this is just a free gift for you. Ideally, this is just to help you and your team understand the best ways to prompt Jasper. And I would even recommend that this is an exercise that you and your team do at like your marketing and sales offsite. And you apply this homework one time, and now it serves you over and over again. I would recommend making this a team exercise where everybody's contributing to your brand assets. Tim says, I have 2 use cases in mind. My business aspect, we're experimenting with memories for RFP responses. This is going to save us a ton of time. And he writes fiction and is going to be experimenting with memories for a backstory of characters and history from the setting. So it's going to be fun. I agree. This is great for recall and continuing storylines and information. So really interesting stuff you're doing there, Tim. Excited to see what you do with it. Looks like we're coming to the end of these questions. Thank you all, team, Sam, Greg, and Brylan for answering all these questions. We'll continue the conversation in the Facebook group. This recording will be live later today. When you're ready, you can go over later today. And if you need one-on-one guidance, you can go to Jasper.ai/101. And there's multiple times a week, some trainings that you can attend to get guidance and get all your questions answered. All right. Wow, that's over 100 questions answered by the team today. Thank you all for showing up live and excited to see what you do. Again, Jasper is ever growing to support your team create on-brand, factual, accurate content at scale. Looking forward to serving you more in the future, and you all have a great day. I'll talk to you all soon. Thank you.